Poor start from you guys today, Dean, and you're having to play catch up for the rest of that game. I mean, how did it feel out there for you guys?
Yeah, heavy catch up after that first quarter. My reflection on that is I think the things we talked about was probably similar to what it was in the Sydney game when we were down heavy. I didn't think we were quite us defensively. We were kind of looking around for screens a little bit rather than just really getting into the basketball and playing how we play. A lot of credit to them. They made some adjustments in the break. Roberts coming in and being a major factor, for them tonight. You probably, if you say you hold Bull Cole to 4 or 5 and Wardenberg to 4 or 5, but you'd win most games. But yeah, Roberts and Miller, like this kind of stuff in the first half with Miller, you're like, wow, we're staying in front of him. He's pulling up, making tough ISO, mid-range jumpers, and he just kept doing it. And so, credit to him for the way he shot the basketball. I look back at it and you look at the window, and it's kind of what we wanted to come out of the window and say we look sharp tonight, and we did it. Our communication defensively wasn't sharp, and the way we popped the basketball, where I thought in practice it was better than that. And so, after quarter time, there was a lot of things that were better, but yeah, big hole.
You gave up 115 points tonight. I mean, what needs to happen on the defensive end to make sure that doesn't occur again this season? Yeah,
us giving up a 31-point quarter and then a 36-point quarter, is pretty huge in the first half. There's some fouling and different things down the stretch that put that quarter to a higher number. But they came out with some flex and some different actions and stuff, and we just didn't guard it well enough with our home-based rules. And once we made some adjustments, so being quicker at that and adjusting to what they're doing. But anytime we got back close or there was just a leak out, run out for them, that transition 3 or a layup, and we knew they'd play fast. And I just thought our communication to match up in D-Trans, was poor tonight.
Do you feel you need to make major rotation changes at all to your lineup to make changes?
No, not really. It's we rewarded Flynn for what he'd been doing with the start tonight, and Delly's going to play lots of minutes whether he starts or comes off the bench or whatever. So I thought Ariel. I look at this one, and Ariel was really good, with his numbers, and just missed a couple of dunks and a couple of free throws in that fourth quarter. Otherwise, he probably should have really closed out the game. But really pleasing with what he brought us tonight, and. We still found our 12 threes and we score 100 points ourselves. We wanted to come back and be, a defensive team that was at a much higher level than we were tonight.
Were you taken aback by the change in starting 5 at all? They started Josh Roberts and Joe Antonio. Were you prepared for that sort of rotation they made?
Probably not Antonio. We talked about the Roberts one to say, thought he, in their fourth quarter against Brisbane, had a really good impact on the game and stuff. So we had spoken about the possibility of him starting and them being in less switching and more in drops coverage and stuff. But obviously he rewarded Antonio as well for what he did in the fourth quarter up there. So I didn't think that was a factor in the game.
Delly, from a player's perspective, what do you do when you're down so much early on? What do you have to do to bring the playing group back together and then fight back into that game?
Just take it one play at a time, and don't look at the scoreboard. Just try to wear them down and trust that if you make enough of the right plays on both ends, that you'll give yourself a chance at the end. And like Dean said, I mean, we got it back tight. I think to 7 a couple times in that fourth, and then either leak out or a turnover or something, and just couldn't get over the hump. But we dug ourselves a hole in the beginning, and let them get comfortable.
What do you think you guys need to work on next week, especially on that defensive end tonight? What do you think you need to work on in this playing group?
I mean, they scored 115, and that's just not us, and it's not who we've been all year. So everyone just has to lock in and compete, but also pay attention to the scout and execute the game plan.
Dan, do you take any positives at all in the offensive end tonight, especially in that second half? Do you take any positives on the offensive end there?
Yeah, I think because we prepared so much for switching coverage probably through the week, there's just the amount of work that we get back in drops coverage, where I think we're great. And I thought Delly, passed the ball really well in drops coverage tonight, found a lot of lobs, saw his own little runner as well. Looking at when we're down heavy, what are some quick actions that we can, I think there was an area there where we say these are the two things that we really want to go to. We probably had some offenses that were probably a little bit longer, in the last 3 minutes. So, yeah, just tidying up, some of those fast play actions. I thought when we moved it, when we really hunted to get CG open, it's been good for us, and we probably didn't do that enough in the first quarter, where we were kind of looking at different kind of ball movement a little bit. So, making sure that we get back to really finding screens for him.
You seemed to run a really heavy full court press during the end of the fourth quarter. Do you think you could have maybe gone to that earlier, or do you think that worked well at all in the late forward?
Yeah, we were desperate. We've mixed it in different patches in the game, but they're a team that have multiple ball handlers, with McCall kind of playing 4 and 5. Everyone on the floor can handle the basketball. Did I think that may have changed our energy? Possibly. Yeah, it's something that we've used in the past to say if we're a little bit flat, that we can come out with some really aggressive full court defense to try and pick us up a little bit. They're a team that leads the league in turnovers, and tonight we just didn't put enough pressure on them to make those turnovers.
Delly, how difficult is it to maintain a backcourt of Miller and McCall tonight, especially Miller with 32 points? How tough is it to go to a guy like him?
Yeah, I mean, you got to give him a lot of credit. He came out, hit his shots, and once he saw it go in, I mean, he felt comfortable, and I think we tried to put a bit more pressure on him and go over some more stuff, but. He had a great game. So did McCall.
Hey, Chris. Yeah, Dean, you touched on it earlier, but the flex offense that they ran probably wasn't a total surprise, given 40's history with Trevor Gleeson. But did it catch you off guard a little bit early in the game?
No, we'd prepped for it. We had rules for it, which are pretty standard guarding Perth over the years. But we just, I don't know, their screening was really good, and some of the screens were pushing us out of bounds and we couldn't recover. And I think once we changed our rules, we were much better with it. But I thought it had mixed effect for them in the Brisbane game. I think they're interesting group where they play pretty loose, and then to give them a lot of structure as well. But it was actually a real positive for them tonight. So if they can find that balance between their one-on-one play, which there was a combination of both in that first half, their one-on-one skills to get shots, contested shots, and create some layups and some mismatches through the flex was pretty good offense.
Is this a frustrating time to have 7 days before your next game to bounce back from this, or just coming out of the fever break, or is it a good thing to work on what you learned out of tonight?
Yeah, and you always reflect on when you play two halves like we played Sydney and the first half here, and did we talk about the first half enough, or did we celebrate the second half too much with the Sydney one because it reoccurred? And so we'll ensure that we don't come out and have a first quarter or a first half like that again for the rest of the season. So it'll be addressed.
And Delly, I'm sure it feels good to be back, and it's probably tough to talk about after a loss, but I'm sure you're hoping now for a better run physically and get through unscathed now for the rest of the season.
Yeah, no, it should be good for the rest of the year now.
How are you feeling? Did the body pull up okay after that finish run?
Yeah, no, I feel good. Just obviously disappointed and frustrated with the game tonight.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Cheers.